What's up, everyone? Welcome to This Day in Philly Sports History for January 21st, 2023. Before we get into the big story, just a few housekeeping items. First, wish a happy birthday to my mom, Karen. I believe she listens. She at least likes my posts, so even if she's not listening, she's missing out. But if she's not listening, she's not going to hear this, but she should be. Either way, happy birthday, Mom. Love you. Flyers game, big tonight for them. They take on the Red Wings, and it's big because the Red Wings are a point ahead of them in the standings, so a loss would kind of give them more of a cushion. And remember, we're trying to get down as close as we can so we can get more of those chances for a lottery pick. A win obviously moves them up, and that's not necessarily what we're looking for right now. Sixers finish up their West Coast swing tonight out in Sacramento. This is actually... obviously, I'll be at the Eagles game, so that's the first priority. But this game would, if there wasn't an Eagles game, would be a very intriguing, interesting one to see. Sacramento is a decent team. They're in the top 5 in the Western Conference. So definitely a good interconference game. And Sixers are looking to go 5-0 on this West Coast swing. Either way, I think they're coming home now with a big game against the Nets middle of next week with a lot of momentum, and they should be feeling good about going out and winning at worst 4 out of 5, if not winning all 5 games on the West Coast swing. So we will take it. All right, so this week we've been doing a lot of the negative things that occurred going into this week's game, trying to change up the juju, going back to what worked for the Phillies with this new Philly and everything. But we're going to go and do a little bit of positive things going into the game tonight. And we're going to go back to 2017 and the NFC So this is where I still get confused. And I don't know. This is the 2017 NFC Championship game, but we're going to go back to 2018. So I don't know. Either way, this is when the Eagles took on the Vikings for the NFC Championship game for the 2017 season, but in 2018. Figure that one out. But the Eagles came in 3-point underdogs, and it was interesting that the over-under on this game, I guess because of the Vikings defense and the Eagles defense that year, was 39. It's kind of low, I would think, for an NFC Championship game, but it was a balmy 47 degrees. I remember there was a lot of cautious optimism in the crowd that night. We weren't sure what to expect based on what had happened the week before against the Falcons. They played well enough to win, but it was still a little nerve-wracking at the end. So I just remember thinking, okay, it's the Vikings. They're not like a superstar team. They had just come back off of that like emotional. It was I forget what they call it, but when they threw the pass to Stephon Diggs against the Saints, and it should have been the Saints playing in this game, but it was like a miracle win for the Vikings. So it was kind of unknown. And 3 points, I think, I don't know, but I guess looking back on it now, we also know how Nick Foles kind of turned things on. But either way, in that game, the Vikings go up early 7-0, and then they were driving again. So you were starting to get a little nervous about what was going to happen. You're like, all right, is this where the magic runs out? And then all of a sudden, Patrick Robinson returned that 50-yard interception for a touchdown. And then after that, the whole vibe, the whole mood of the team, everything just changed that day, and the legend of Nick Foles was born after that, because once Patrick Robinson returned that interception, it was all Eagles. They were up 24-7 at the half. Nick threw a 53-yard touchdown to Alshon. Like, everything he threw was just boom, like perfect passes, and that continued into the Super Bowl. They opened up the second half. They scored. That was the flea flicker to Torrey Smith. And, I mean, the end of the day, he was 26 for 33, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns. And more importantly, something clicked. He found that magic, and he carried that into the Super Bowl against the Patriots. And we all know how that came out. But just that day, I mean, to be in the NFC Championship game and ultimately be on cruise control, knowing that you were going to win from early on in the third quarter. It just was a surreal feeling because typically games like that, we would leave early. We're like, all right, they're up 31-7 beginning of the third quarter. Let's go home, drink cheaper beer, and not necessarily worry about it. But obviously nobody was leaving because you wanted to see the celebration. But it just was like we stood the entire second half. There was just like you knew what was going to happen. Like it was just it was very, and we talked earlier today about New Philly. That was a very New Philly feeling. Like here we are, getting ready to go to the Super Bowl, and we're just standing here waiting for the clock to run out. And I swear to God, the beer stands were open later that game for whatever reason. But or it may have just seemed that way, or maybe we were milking our beers. I don't know. But this day, back in 2018, the Eagles beat the Vikings 38-7 to go to Super Bowl 52. And we all know how that worked out with Tom Brady. But again, this was the day that the legend of Nick Foles was born, and it just was probably one of the greatest just experiences I think of my life. Like I said, it's not like you don't necessarily think that you're going to be sitting there a couple minutes into the third quarter and you're just waiting for the clock to run out because it's a foregone conclusion that you're going to win, especially in Philly, especially up until that time. So we'll take it. But one of the more fun games over the 23 years I've had tickets that we've been to. So speaking of games that I have been to, let's take a look at today's game. As of record time, the spread is still Eagles minus 7.5. And I've been flip-flopping on this all week. I feel going into it, like I was like, man, there's no way the Eagles are going to cover that spread. And then I just started seeing the focus and just what's going on. I'm still hesitant about this. And last night I was 100% as I'm typing out my notes for the pod today. I'm like, Eagles are going to cover. I woke up today and I'm just like, I'm still flip-flopping. I can see it being a grind. I mean, part of me is like, yeah, I can see them blowing them out. But I think here's what we're going to do with the pick. I've been wrong a lot of times on these, so hopefully we're going to pull a little bit of the reverse psychology as well. But I'm thinking you got to take the Giants plus the points. I do think the Eagles win. I don't necessarily think – I think it's more of a backdoor cover situation. Like I can see them being up 7-10 points most of the game, and then all of a sudden – like winning by 3 or 4 points. So we're going to go Giants with the points, but the Eagles to win the game. I think the Eagles do get off to a bigger start. I think a better bet that I'm also going to put in is Eagles minus 3.5 for the first half. Typically that like the second quarter is where they've excelled this year. So let's go with that. But the official play, we ended up 6-11 this year on our bets, so not the greatest. So maybe the trend continues and the Eagles blow them out. So do with that what you want. But I do like the first half minus 3.5 bet. I'm also probably going to put them in a teaser with KC. Tease both of them down and go with that. But so should be a fun time. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Might be a little bit later tomorrow with posting. Hopefully it's a celebratory mood, but go Birds today. We're going to take the Eagles to win, Giants with the points, Eagles in the first half minus the points. But this day, Eagles beat the Vikings 38-7 back in 2018. Like I said, I'm so pumped for this game right now. I'm ready to just run through the window, and it's only 6:50 in the morning. But go have yourselves a Saturday. Go Birds. I do want to mention, other than my mom's birthday, it also is Hall of Fame and former Temple coach John Chaney's birthday. Rest in peace, Coach. We're going to have more on him on Back to the Future next week. But happy birthday, Coach. Happy birthday, Mom. Go Birds. And until next time, I will see you when I see you.